Former President Donald Trump again in uncharted waters. Yesterday, we brought you live coverage as Trump was arrested, fingerprinted, and arraigned on 37 federal criminal charges. As we told you, federal prosecutors accuse him of mishandling documents containing national defense secrets found at his Mar-a-Lago estate. It is an unprecedented situation. A former president and current presidential candidate now on pretrial release ahead of a federal trial. WATE 6 on your side legal analyst Greg Issacs is here. Thank you for coming in again today.
Lori, it's good to be here.
We spoke with you yesterday. You were very interested to see how this hearing would play out. So how did it go and what did we learn?
Well, the initial appearance heard around the world was really anticlimactic. Former President Trump entered a plea of not guilty to 37 counts, 31 for violations of the Espionage Act, 6 for false statements and obstruction of justice. And then the issue turns to will he be detained, or any citizen, and conditions of release. Obviously, no surprise, former President Trump not detained. But what was surprising, Lori, no conditions of release. Everyone else has a very lengthy litany of things you can do, can't do, travel restrictions, and in this case, none.
Wow.
He was not required to surrender his passport. The only restriction was he is not allowed to talk to his co-defendant, Nada, his personal assistant, who is going to be arraigned in 2 weeks, and there's not been a trial date. So
where does it go from here?
Where does it go from here? Typically, jurisdictions like Miami, they have a very fast docket. Under federal law, under the Federal Speedy Trial Act, a case must be tried within 70 days unless the court makes specific findings that the Federal Speedy Trial Act should be waived in the interest of justice. So it'll be interesting. Special Prosecutor Smith has said he wants this tried before the election cycle. The Trump camp, I don't think, are pushing the pedal that much. But it's going to be interesting how you do things. Once Natu is arraigned, there's going to be a scheduling order, a discovery date, a pretrial motion date, and a trial date. How do people in defending or prosecuting Trump look at documents that the government is saying he's not entitled to look at? So I think you're going to see some interesting legal issues play out in the district court in Miami. But in terms of the initial appearance, no surprise, no restrictions, and the campaign goes forward. Any
legal milestones that you have your eyes on, that, you know, any possibilities?
Well, here's what's interesting. Immediately, the Trump camp is trying to win, not in the courtroom, but the court of public opinion. When they say Espionage Act, Trump says Presidential Records Act, something very benign. So what I'm going to really be looking to see is one side going to blink, or are they going to have a zero-sum game where they impanel a jury? And under the federal sentencing guidelines, if former President Trump is convicted, he could be facing up to 10 years on each count. Is the government willing to go that far? Is former President Trump willing to take that risk? Or will there be a meeting somewhere in the middle? I'm fascinated.
I think we all are. All right, Greg, thank you.
We'll be
talking with you more about this. Be sure about that. And if you have a legal question for Greg, you can reach out to him by emailing askissacs@wate.com. And remember, we talk with Greg every Wednesday at 5:30 right here on WATE. 6 on your side.